not saying we don't need fighter jets, are you?
No.
You're not really saying
No, and
okay.
I don't think that's the question. We're not deciding whether or not we are going to have an Air Force or not.
Some candidates would, no, not necessarily have an Air Force, but whether or not the Air Force would be equipped with so-called fighter jets, or whether or not it would be other kinds of aircraft, that's all.
Okay, well, we are engaged in NATO, we're engaged in the UN, we have a role to play around the world. If we lose that role, if we are basically, we're diminished internationally. We used to be a very powerful country as the soft power, as the honest broker for the world, and this conservative government has changed that. So I would never give up our role in a military fashion. And these jets, specifically, are really they're not the right jet for us. We will have to replace the ones we have eventually, but we have to do it in an open fashion where we know the cost of it. Today, the Conservatives admitted they really don't know what the final cost is going to be. We had one American analyst say that the price that the Conservatives are saying doesn't include the engine or the guns. So this is not the right way to go, and it's not the right time to do it. We don't need these jets tomorrow, so we should cancel this.
Marie Crawford, what about these jets?
Sure. I mean, we'd love to be at a state in the world where war wasn't an issue. I hate to say that we may have to have some defense there, but I think this purchase is just another, it's a conservative sort of way of trying to be more like Americans, saying we've got to, look like a big superpower, and I think that's the wrong image for Canada. It's the wrong purchase. Ideally we can unwind from the whole idea that there's still war and we need to, but this is the wrong, it's overkill. Okay.
Yeah. If you pardon the expression. Yes, okay. Here's a question. All right, I don't have a name on this, but no, I don't have a name. Since the government already collects a variety of taxes on gambling, alcohol, and cigarettes, which of the candidates would be in support of legitimizing the sale and consumption of marijuana in order to increase government revenues and free police to act against more serious crime? Andrew Lang, I'll start with you.
Well, I'm opposed to that concept. I am in favor of decriminalizing the possession of small amounts of marijuana. We tend to turn pot users into criminals by jailing them. And in turn, I would also increase the penalties on the dealer. So lighten the penalty, and make it a fine even on the user, but increase the penalties on the dealer.
Okay.
That's the criminal.
Marie Crawford, how would you answer that question?
Well, yeah, I think government support largely of alcohol and gaming is already a problem, that they're actually encouraging this kind of behavior by giving to it. In terms of marijuana, which is another, it's possible that people can lose a bit of their way on it. The same as if in other words, marijuana could be legalized as long as alcohol is in the same. Well,
as I recall, alcohol is legal.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So you would say put it on the same basis in the marketplace as alcohol.
Yes, if we're going to support that. Yes.
If you're going to support it.
If we're going to support alcohol as something that can be, gambling and alcohol taxation.
All right. Okay. Let's hear from Adriana on this, because as I recall, I think it's in your party platform.
It is in our party platform, and it's actually membership approved, so we can't even fight it.
And what precisely does it say? Maybe you could share it with us.
But the issue is we're not supporting drugs. What we're supporting is we don't want to criminalize our youth, as Andrew said, but we also want to get the profits out of the gangs and into government so that they can actually fight drug abuse with that money. So it's actually...
So legalize it and tax it is really what
Legalize it and tax it,
That's right. And at the same time, I believe, run commercials warning against the ills of marijuana.
Just like they do with cigarettes, and just like they do with
cigarettes.
And you get quality control, and you also get it out of the hands of kids. Because once it's being sold in stores, kids don't have a place to buy it.
All right. Okay. Andrew, additional point?
One thing we should always be careful of, just because we have a bunch of vices that we allow, doesn't mean it's okay to add to that list. That's all I want to say. Just, we got to be careful how many
It's
vices.
not incumbent upon us to make a longer list of vices,
What's
right?
going to be next?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not.
Okay.
Keep in mind, we're not saying that you add to that vice. These people are smoking drugs anyway.
Well, but let's be specific. The platform is saying legalize marijuana.
Absolutely.
Okay,
We do not expect use to go up.
All right. Okay. Time for some closing thoughts. And I'd like to start first off with Adriana. Would you go ahead, please? And your closing 30 seconds for this evening.
Yep. Jack Layton is expected to coast to an easy victory on May the 2nd in Toronto Danforth. That allows everyone in this riding to vote with their heart and even to nudge Jack Layton and his party into the right direction by showing the strength of the Green vote in his riding. I'm asking every voter in Toronto Danforth to consider our children and the future they face when you cast your ballot on Monday. For our children, I urge you to vote Green.
Adriana Muñado-Hamu, thank you very much. Andrew Lang, your final thoughts, please.
This election is a choice. It comes down to a very simple choice. Do you want Stephen Harper to be your Prime Minister any longer? And the residents of Toronto Danforth say no. And what they need to remember is the only way to make that happen is to replace the Harper government. And the only party that can do that is the Liberal Party. If you want to get rid of Stephen Harper, you have to vote Liberal. And when we are knocking door to door, I talk to all the residents of the riding, and they say that they think Jack is unbeatable. Well, Jack only got 44% of the vote last time. 56% of Toronto Danforth residents do not want him to be their Member of Parliament.
All right, thank you very much, Andrew Lang. Marie Crawford, your final thoughts for tonight.
Thank you. Our party is interested in encouraging every voter to vote with their heart and select those people that they believe that they can trust with their families' lives, our environment for future generations. So whoever you feel is good to represent you, you must do that and move away from the idea of what the bigger parties are offering and understand that every individual that is elected will have the power inside to help you and your family. So just vote with ethics in your heart for this election on May 2nd.
Thank you all very much for coming in. Will you be glad when this is over? No? Nobody wants to admit that, right? You're saying, oh no, I wish it could go on forever? I don't think
One more
you're
week.
saying. One more week. It's tough work, though, isn't it? I mean, no one should fool themselves into thinking that this is easy. It's a big riding, a big neighborhood, as you said.
Little resources.
And you would know that because you've knocked on a lot of doors. All of you have, I'm sure. Would you run again?
Oh,
Yeah? All of you would say that? You'd run again?
well, I'll be the incumbent, so I have to.
Oh, of course. All right. There's positive thinking. Thank you all very much for coming in, and good luck to you all.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Coming up next on the local campaign, York Centre and York South Weston.